Alright guys, welcome back to the Services Auto Adventure video. I've been asked a lot on how to potential every character in the game, and obviously since the last time we've done it, there's been a few new characters. We've also learned a new things as well, and there's more updates towards the game a little bit where I guess, yes, if you go back and watch my last video, things have definitely changed. So before we go over all the characters individually, let's just talk about two general rules a little bit, and that is how to give most characters. When they are a DPS character, you want to give them full attack. If they are a debuffer or a supporter, generally speaking, you want to give them most of the time accuracy, and I'll talk about why that's the case later on. And then if you are a tank character, then you typically want to go towards HP, but there are some characters like obviously Esterosa where his actual tankiness, or at least the reason why I use them, is to taunt and to reflect the counter back. At that point, you want to go towards full accuracy. So we'll do a character individually, and there's even other characters like that just came out right now, like Galaxinia, where he wants to go more crit chance, but if you get towards a higher dupe level, then you might want to go towards more defense to get his ultimate hit harder. So before we start talking about all the actual individual legendaries, let's go down towards the fillers, right? All of these characters here. So typically, if you're late in towards the game, you're not really using that many of the actual unique characters. So what you care about the most is just getting them towards the highest box CC. So before, I was telling people to actually give them HP, because if you're not using them, HP can actually give you the highest, I think, like combat stat wise. However, that's not the case. The best way to give a character you don't use the biggest CC boost is by giving them crit damage. So you can probably see it on screen. I did take some screenshots. This was one of the characters with a max HP, and this is the character after I gave them max crit damage. You see they got like a 400 million boost in terms of CC, I believe it was, which obviously it may vary depending on where you are right now in your account. And obviously you do that for everyone in your box. You see the massive CC buff we got. Nothing too crazy. It's not like it's going to change your account, but it does give you a little bit of a boost, and if I didn't do it, I probably wouldn't be on 2T right now. So let's just go to all of my box right now, how to get a character. So Meliodas, to give him full attack. I think for most people right now, you don't really care about using him too much because he's a low dupe level. You might be getting around like 6 or 7 star right now. To be fair, he's starting to hit pretty hard actually, but I think still down a little bit too early. So when you get towards a high dupe level, maybe because this character is a bit more unique a little bit, because he actually has 2 more potential slots, I think you might want to give him maybe a bit more crit damage, right? Because he does increase his crit chance. So getting more crit damage might be good for the character. So at that point, I can see you having, what would it be, like 5 attacks and 2 crit damage. And the reason why it's important later on is because we go towards Berserk Melee. So I've been told this, and I actually don't know if it's true, so do let me know in the comments below, right? Is the best way to potentially your pitchback Meliodas is to give him 3 attack and 2 crit damage. And the reason why is because Berserk Melee, especially if you gear him up or not gear him up, but you dupe him out, you level up your account a little bit, you have Merlin on the team, he's critting a lot. And when he does crit, he does his AoE skill. So that means you're going to do more damage. You're going to be critting basically a lot. So having more crit damage with a bit of attack is actually good, specifically for this Meliodas, right? When we go towards someone like Gowther, yeah, he may crit a lot, but he doesn't really have any crit abilities, right? He's not critting doing AoE skill. So someone like him, for example, I gave him full attack because what I care about for Gowther is sometimes being a DPS character. I always say when I used him, sometimes as a DPS in that sense of like he was actually dealing a lot of damage, then you didn't mind attack. But I would say right now, I think maybe what's probably a little more important for Gowther is just landing those skills to get the actual energy restore, and of course as well the accuracy for your team, and even getting this ability to go off too. So I think giving Gowther more accuracy, just for accuracy, is actually probably a bit better if you don't care about him actually, you know, being a DPS. Escanor, full attack. Derieri, we have full attack as well. She's very tanky. I don't know if she has any crit abilities, right? Like, I don't know if she actually crits too often. She is red, so she does get the buff by Merlin, but I don't really see Derieri like as a crit character. All I care about her is her surviving, which you could lean more in towards the defensive stuff, but you can kind of do that with Super Awakening. But yeah, for me, we just give her max attack. And with Zeldris, he does have some sort of crit ability a little bit. He does get the crit chance increased by 15% because stacks up to 3 times. Nothing too crazy. It's nice for him, but he's not going to be like getting guaranteed crits and doing AoE skill like a Berserk Melee is. So for me, just give him full attack. Grey Road though, to be fair, I could probably max her out so she's not missing at all, but we have given her full accuracy. Once again, I want to stress the accuracy thing because I know before I was kind of against accuracy, at least at the start of the game, because I think people are leaning too much in towards it, saying you need accuracy for your characters, when I don't think you did, because you're progressing at the same level as you're kind of clearing through the story mode, right? at least when I'm playing at the start of the game, I did get to a point where even with the accuracy buffs I got from my potential, my characters weren't to a high enough dupe level that it generally just didn't matter, right? So where accuracy is a bit more important is, one, I'd say a little bit more on towards the nightmare stages, because right now, Greyoda, I don't care about her surviving. She's in the back line. She's never going to get attacked. I don't care about her doing damage because I have my Berserk money, my DPS is for that, right? All I care about with Greyoda is her landing her actual abilities. So that is where, obviously, the accuracy is a bit more important, but also in some other contents, especially for the newer characters, like the Advent boss battle, where the more damage you deal towards the character, the more they're going to increase their stats to where the more likely you are going to miss if you're lower dupe type characters. So once again, that is where accuracy is a bit more important, because you're going to be able to land those skills where you may not have been able to do it, especially when you get to the high dupe level. When you start stacking, those accuracy is pretty good too. Also, I think in Natter bosses too, once again, same situation as the Advent boss battle. They do stack up the actual stats, so you will get to a point where you start missing. And if you can't break through or apply that debuff to apply the weakness effects, then that's where it can hurt you, and you won't get extra player points. Same with Barn. Don't really care about him actually doing damage, giving full accuracy. Then move on to Merlin. Merlin, to be fair, she actually might crit a lot, because she's got some pretty decent crit chance, I think. But for right now, we've just given her full attack, just because all she does is attack, spin, attack. Doesn't inherently have any like crit-based stuff in her kit. She may be critting like often, I don't really notice it too much, but I think for her right now, just give her attack, because I don't think everyone's got up to like a full max level. Jericho, I've given her a bit of accuracy and a bit of attack right now, because when I was using her, she was a little bit of a low dupe level. Granted, I think I've gone her upwards a little bit, because I think I put her a few times now of like the guarantee stuff they give me out for a few tickets, right? But when I did use her, she was a low dupe level. However, I will say, after she gets towards the high dupe level, we're giving this character a full attack. I don't think I care about accuracy too much, because she will be the main DPS character. But I think when you're a little bit low dupe level, maybe a bit accuracy, because if you look at it even right now, even though we got like 2 accuracy rolls, even on nightmare stages, she still does alright. Like you see, like 9 billionaire. Giant Goldie, and I'm not gonna lie, this one's kind of up in here, I would say a little bit, because you ideally want to give her defense, at least the way the actual skill right here is well, because she does heal based off her defense, so you might want to give her more defense, which is probably the best thing you can do for the character. But I will say, I haven't used her in a very long time now. What I did give her was actually attack, because the only time I ever really used her was kind of the first initial time we got towards the actual Silver Demon, where you want to bring light type characters, and the game was still relatively new, so there wasn't that many good light types in the game, especially like Zolius or Fat King, even the new Meteors, for example. So I was relying on her to be a little bit of a DPS character. She is inherently a tank character, so she does have some pretty good stats, and you typically got her duped out the most, because they did give a few copies of her for free. So I'd say generally she wasn't dying anyway, so I didn't really care about her surviving. All I cared about her is doing damage. So if you're in that situation where you are still a new player, probably just give her more attack, because you might be more beneficial in like boss fights. Esterosa, tank character, the only tank character that has to have full attack, because you want him to deal a lot of damage on the counters. We do have some pretty good tank characters now in the game, like Devrieri and also Gloxinia. So in terms of like tanking, if you want to go towards actual like tankiness and surviving, go towards them characters. The reason why you use Esterosa is to counter back, and that's why it does most of the damage. Elizabeth is a healer, and her healing is based off her actual attack, so you want to give her full attack, so when she does heal, she's going to heal a lot back as well. Lost Fate Meliodas, the OG one, you want to go towards more attack, I'd say. I probably wouldn't even use character, because you have the new one. The new one's just better. You get more crit chance if you get 5% on the new one. This one here is 15. Just, yeah, full attack. OG Barn, still a go at the game a little bit. Just give him full attack. Then we have OG Merlin. I actually don't care too much about her dealing damage, so you might actually want to go towards accuracy, because I feel like if you really want to, and you want to lean more towards her actually landing skills, which to be fair, most people should be able to get towards a high dupe level, but if you want to more so make her land skills, then to get that buff from me, maybe on a certain boss, for example, then yeah, accuracy would be important, because I've never actually like felt like, yo, I need Merlin to damage, but considering this skill right here doesn't actually do any like damage, and then this skill was like met as well, like she's actually just not doing damage, and I actually sometimes never even use the ultimate, because it's like so far the end rotation. Yeah, maybe accuracy is probably a bit more important towards her if you care about her in boss fights, but I'd say maybe just give her attack. Zarichos is very much like Berserk Melee in a way, right? Where if he does land a crit, he then does an AoE skill and even restores energy, right? However, so you might in that case do the same thing as Berserk Melee, where you give some attack and some crit damage, but I'm not like trying to mid-max, to be honest. You lot, my Zarichos, I to be fair, rarely ever use him. So I think for the most cases, if I ever do use him, maybe in Tower Trials, I'll probably just give him maybe some crit chance if I need to, because there's no like way to increase crit chances for green characters. So for me, I'd rather just go with attack for him if you ever do decide to use him. Okay, so for Diane, I think most people would agree pretty likely just accuracy, because what she's used for is literally just night bosses. And if you're using her, you want her to land the petrification. You want her to land the infect, the bleed, right? Maybe the evasion down. So what matters is is landing those skills. So accuracy is probably more important. At least what I've given her, we've given her full attack. And the reason why is just because I showcased her recently on the channel, and I wanted to showcase her like max damage outside of night bosses, because people were telling me that she was kind of decent a little bit and like just like AoE content. So I was using her in PvP, I was using her in Tower Trials. So for that reason, I did want to see if she could actually do a lot of damage. So we did give her some attack after rows here. But I think if I was to actually sweat a little more on night bosses, you'd probably like to just give her actual just full accuracy, right? Because that's all you care about her is landing her abilities, especially when the boss gets to the high dupe level or the high like level cap, to where she starts missing. If she misses and you need one more weakness effect on towards the boss, if she misses the petrify, then that's just yeah, you could lose like a massive points. King. I've not used King in a minute. King was like a little bit of an OG go under like the beta days. He was actually one of the better damage dealers in the game. So for that reason, I did give him attack. But I feel like if you were to use him, which you wouldn't, because you'd rather use the new Meliodas, who did give the attack buff for free just being on the team. Yeah, just give him attack. I don't know. Fraudrin does revive based off his max HP. So just give him max HP. Guild Wonder, if he crits, so maybe you want to give him crit chance to get this ability to go off. But if he does crit, he then does his shock damage. And then at that point, you can then give him some actual more attack rolls to make him deal more damage. I did do HP because I think I just rolled out of time, but I'll probably just give him a full attack. Gopher is a debuffer, but you don't really use him too much in towards like night bosses, because I don't think any of the debuffs actually work on the bosses. So for me, we have given him full attack, because I do know sometimes he actually does do some pretty good decent damage. Got a lot of AoE skills, he typically hits everyone on the board too, and then he's kind of spamming these big AoE skills too. So for me, I just love giving him attack just to be a bit more of a damage healer. The Forest Elaine, she is kind of the more unique character in the game, because she has 2 AoE skills. I think she's still the only character in the game right now, at least in terms of like legendary rank for characters, that has an AoE skill and a normal skill. So she does put a little bit of AoE damage out. She buffs up her own attack, just doesn't need to land, she just does it anyway, so just give her full attack. Lilia, to be fair, I've never really used her as an actual DPS character. The only time we ever used her was to literally land his ultimate to then give the accuracy buff and normal skill damage towards your team, which typically just goes towards Zeldris. So at that point, you kind of should give her full accuracy. That's literally it. She's just a support character for Zeldris. I have got one attack roll there, because why not? Maybe I'll switch up and try her out on full attack to see if she actually is a good damage dealer nowadays. But at least when I was using her, if you use that low dupe level, all you care about is her landing her skills. Fat King, just pure damage basically, give him full attack. Okay, so for Elette, I've given her full attack. Granted, I'd say in the past, you might want to give her full crit chance, because what you wanted her for a little bit was to land a crit to then buff remove on the target. But I think we're kind of past the point right now where we have to like actually buff remove, like you're forced to do it. In the past, there was that veil buff on like some bosses. So if you are a bit of a new player, there are other characters that can buff remove you. If anything, you might want to go towards the new Merlin. That does a guarantee in the ultimate. You can kind of control a little bit. But yeah, I'd say, I mean, she has access towards Merlin too, and she increases her crit chance. So do you need it? Maybe, because her crit chance is a little bit lower than most characters. But if you want to actually use Elette as like a buff remover, then yeah, give her full crit chance. That's all you care about. Henriksen, stats suck. I'm not going to lie to you lot, so just give him full attack if you have to use him. Galan, just give him full attack. He's just a single target blue DPS a little bit. This skill right here can stack up his crit chance a little bit, but I can't remember, because it's 50% chance not guaranteed, like our Merlin is, for example. So you may actually get some like L's a little bit where it just doesn't stack up. So even though he does increase his crit chance, leaning a bit more into crit damage, probably not the best thing to do. I just give him full actual attack. Draw is a tank character, so all you care about is him surviving. Give him full actual HP. I think there is some debate right now, like whether defense is better than HP on like a tank character, so do let me know. But for generally speaking, I just want him to survive enough to where this immortality lasts long enough anyway, right? Glug's a bit of a weird one actually, a little bit, because you do use him a little bit in towards actual, or actually to be fair, quite a bit actually, in some native bosses, because he does do the break, he does do the bind, so that actually is 2 of the native conditions. So at that point, you do want this ability to land, so yeah, give him full accuracy. If you're really trying to sweat in towards native bosses, then yeah, accuracy might be the better thing here. But to be fair, I use him most of the time, I'd probably say in some Tower Trial stages. At that point, I wanted to be a good healer. You might be also bringing another healer like Elizabeth anyway, so do you really need this Glux in here to actually have some sort of like big heals? I don't know. I haven't used him in a while, but when I did use him, it was for a healer, so I have full attack on towards him. But like I say, if you want to sweat more on towards obviously your you know, Night bosses, then yeah, full accuracy. Gelda, if she crits, she does heal, but the healing is based off her attack. So what do you want to go towards? Do you want her to be crit like a lot? I will say when I used her a little bit in, because you typically use her only in Tower Trials and use her always with a Merlin, which gives her passive from some more crit chance anyway. She does alright critting. Maybe you can throw some on here, but maybe yeah, two crit chances and like 3 attack. That might be the best thing for her. Okay, Arthur, I think I haven't used in a minute. I guess I just give him full attack if I ever did use him, but he's an upfront support character. Maybe HP if you don't want to die. But yeah, I just give him, he's not doing damage anyway. I'd say yeah, probably just more HP. Mon speed, this actual buff right here does give it attack. So for me, to be fair, I did give him for attack. In the past when we used Mon speed, he was actually one of the better AoE characters in the game, but he's definitely been obviously, you know, power crept a little bit where honestly this he just doesn't do any damage nowadays. So does attack actually matter? Probably not. So if anything, just give him more accuracy. If anything, maybe lean more alone towards crit chance too, so where you can actually do this AoE skill that gives you more energy too, which you don't actually probably need in the game because it's like you've Gopher, you have melee critting to give an energy restore too. You don't even need him for now bosses, so I don't even know what you want to give him. Brayfus, you only really use him in, I guess, some AoE content in obviously Tower Trials and the red characters. He actually isn't too bad here, but applying the resistance down is what you use on night bosses, so give him full accuracy. Melascula, I just wouldn't use, but I gave her HP and attack apparently. I think I just give her HP. No, she's 65 range though, is she? 50, so she's a bit further out. This skill here does sort of heal based on attack, but the heal is so little, you're just not using us as a healer character. If anything, you probably just want it for the crit damage. At that point, you just want to survive. Gila, to be fair, only really ever use her in, obviously, Tower Trials, because she got some AoE abilities, so for that reason, we give her full attack. Grimoire literally does a Veil buff every 5 seconds for 3 seconds based on his HP. So yeah, give him HP. Emperor of Light Escanor, just give him full attack. He's meant to be a big DPS character. The burn, you don't need to use him anywhere else. Just give him, yeah, full attack. A little bit reverse between Droll and Derriere. Droll, you care about if you use them, it's just surviving. Where Derriere, she has the same passive a little bit, where she cannot die, but she also has the accuracy and defensive buff, right? But for me, for example, we give her full attack, because she surprisingly does a lot of damage. Generally, right now, I think I've been using my main PvP team. Having the immortality, just passive for 10 seconds, you kind of think of us like that on a DPS card a little bit, because she does do a lot of damage, which is, yeah, very, very surprising. So I'd give her full attack, because, yeah, just use your all if you want to be more defensive. This buff is so little that you just wouldn't use it. For Downfall Lich, give her, I guess, crit chance. If you ever need to use her, you want her to give the attack or crit chance buff towards your green characters, which isn't even reliable anyway. But yeah, give her crit chance. I think Elaine, once again, you want to use her for some natted bosses. For that reason, give her full accuracy. Diane, in the same situation as Droll, just tanking off. Just give her HP. Zenari is a healer based off her actual attacks, so give her attack. Jenna, all you care about is her landing skills. She is very far out, so she is obviously not going to get attacked too much. So I think for that reason, probably just give her accuracy. Hellbrum, once again, a natted boss character that can petrify and also as well evasion down. Give her his, or give him accuracy. We have got HP there, but because I was just giving HP, but I'll give him accuracy. Slater is based off attack. Yeah, I just wouldn't use him to be fair, but he's based off attack. Jericho, I gave her full HP, right? Because she, I guess, needs to land the crit to get the attack buff, so maybe give her a crit chance. But he's one I was using her, at least in the past. You kind of only used her with Arthur, which gave the crit chance anyway. And she is a close range fighter, so at that point, I thought she might have died a little bit too early. But all you care about is his ultimate. Just getting this off. This is the only time I think you ever use a character. Okay, Elizabeth, literally, they made it so she doesn't need to land any of her skills. This skill, she just uses anyway. This skill right here just revives based on max HP, so just give her max HP. This skill, once again, doesn't need to do damage. This one does, to be fair, to get the actual, like, restore on a character. So maybe you want to give accuracy a little bit, but for me right now, just give her 4 HP. But to be fair, she doesn't even get targeted. But the heal she does do is based off her max HP, which goes quite well with the actual revive a little bit, right? She's red, so she works with Merlin, so she gets the crit chance. I think for me right now, I'll just give her 4 HP. Maybe you want to go towards actual accuracy later on, but I wouldn't. Henriksen, you only want accuracy on him because you only use him, I think it's for the infect, right, for the actual Night boss. Matrona, kind of the same thing a little bit. You want to give her, I mean, I gave her HP because I was using that in like one content before, but there was something that you had to use the actual Matrona in, so HP kind of mattered a little bit. I think I was using Tower Trials, but I do know when you want to use her, you kind of only use her for taunting in Knighthood bosses, so at that point you want this ultimate to land, so yeah, give her accuracy. Henderson, give him attack, you don't use him. Nanashi wants to get a final kill, so to get the energy restore on the actual ultimate, but like he never kills anyone. He's kind of meant for, I'd say, a little bit towards the actual like Goblin Dungeon, the XP and also Hero XP one, or the Gold Dungeon 2, which Yeah, he wasn't like a character who got duped out for free. It was hard to get him up there. You can see right now he's still one of my lowest level characters. You want him to get a guaranteed kill. If he kills someone, then sure, it's great, but you just wouldn't use him. Denzel, I never use, so if anything, I might just want to give him full crit damage so he gets more CC. Hauser, you could probably give him more accuracy just so he lands his skills. We did get to attack because he was meant to be a bit of a DPS character, but unfortunately didn't get him duped out. I think you might want to use him some Night bosses with the resistance down, so maybe that's the reason why, but I'd give him full attack. Because I know there was one event boss we got a while ago where he actually was a pretty good DPS. Glock so yeah, like we said early on, for right now, I'm giving him full crit chance because what I am using him for right now is to literally just become immortal infinitely, basically, which he gets every single time he crits. And if he doesn't crit, then he's obviously just not dealing damage. But I think later on, you do want to give him more defense. At least from what I saw, for people that actually really did dupe him out, because he was, I think, dealing a lot of damage with this Wither buff. Meliodas, apparently one of the better characters in the game. Unfortunately, we still don't have him towards a high dupe level, but you want to go full attack on him. Okay, Melascula, you probably want to go towards more HP a little bit. I have given a full attack because when I did test the character out when she first came out, I wanted her to see if she could do some AoE damage because she has got 2 AoE skills on the tier 2 here and also this skill right here. So I thought, okay, maybe she's meant to be a bit of a damage healer. She wasn't. But then also as well, this skill does heal based on attack. So maybe you want to heal the team more, and that's what I thought might be a bit better. But I think when I did use the character, what I did notice was the Veil buff going on towards the lowest HP target, which is based off the caster's HP, so her HP. To that point, I think that was like her best part of the character's kit. So that's why you want to go towards more HP. But he also wanted the skill to land. But I think if she's duped out towards a high level where she's not missing it anyway, and you're probably actually using this character, then at that point, I just give her HP. And the final character, we have Valenti, give her full attack. She was, yeah, I mean, I used her 5-star. She was kind of insane a little bit. Like, this skill, ultimate effects, just did so much damage. The electromagnetic field does counter shock, so maybe later on you might have used some night bosses, but she's actually a pretty good damage dealer. So for me, yeah, I'm giving her full attack. So yeah, guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. A bit of a long one. It is going over all legendary characters. Like I just say, if you're planning to use unique characters, or if you're a new player, to be fair, if you're a new player right nowadays, they give you access to so much legendary characters now that you're probably not going to use them like how we did when the game first came out. Like, typically for us, it was very, very common to get a actual unique characters with a high dupe level way before a legendary character, where, yeah, you lot, I don't really need to worry too much about that one. Like I did say, normally you're going to give them full actual, full crit damage so you have more box CC on your account. However, there are still some unique characters that you do typically use for night bosses. Like Ren, for example, you do use, I think, a little bit for when you want to apply Infect. So at that point, you might want to give some accuracy because you want her to land those skills. But I can't remember right now if I actually still even use unique characters for actual night bosses. I think there are a few, but it's a handful. So if you do use a character for night boss, give them accuracy. So yeah, guys, it's going to wrap up my video. Bit of a long one. Let me know if you're changing anything about how about you go getting your characters if you are a bit more knowledgeable than me in this game, because I'm still learning, obviously, and obviously I'm just reporting towards you lot. So guys, thank you for watching, and yeah, peace.